everybody, and welcome to Good Luck High Five, episode 541.
That's right. You're listening to a podcast that's for you if you play Magic the Gathering. Whether you are sweating while you're playing, as I constantly am right now, or you have the sweet, sweet boon of air conditioning, we are here for you.
I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Megan.
And at least we have AC now after our winter troubles on this show for so long.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah.
Blessed to sweat, if you will.
Hashtag blessed to sweat.
After the winter we went through here in Minnesota.
Yeah, I would take sweating over that winter any time.
Yeah, being too hot better than too cold.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm a make it too warm over make it too cold kind of person.
Speaking of making it hot, Lord of the Rings has now fully in its preview season.
Yes.
And we are so excited because we have a preview card to share with you.
Yes. And the rest of today's episode, we're going to take a step back from Lord of the Rings with Oops, All Story.
Yay, Oops, All Story. We are catching up to where we are in the current present moment with Magic Story.
I am walking Maria through 11 whole chapters of Magic Story. The final one from Phyrexia all will be one, and then all 10 chapters of March of the Machine.
Oh
Maria,
my God.
Are you ready?
Is it possible to do that within our show length?
I think
that's the challenge we have.
I have made some very truncated notes that I used. I tried to get right to the heart of things.
Okay, well, let's go, you know.
So we're going to try.
We're going to get you all up to date on the story, and then we can start fresh once we're through Lord of the Rings, because that story, I mean...
Yes. I mean, next week I am going to give you the Lord of the Rings story in 5 minutes.
There you go, and then we'll be done. The
Hobbit all the way through.
In 5 minutes.
All 3 Lord of the Rings.
Okay. Good challenge. Challenge accepted.
So
wait for next week for that goodness to hit. And we'll talk more about the Lord of the Rings set because we'll have a ton of preview cards which will have been revealed
preview
by
cards.
then. The set looks sweet, by the way. Very excited for it.
Excited.
But before we give you our preview card and do 10 chapters of Magic Story, no, 11 chapters of Magic Story. A huge thank you to everybody who makes the show happen each and every week by becoming a patron over at patreon.com/GLHF Magic.
That's right. Thank you so much to every single one of you who is a patron, past patrons, current patrons, future patrons who are out there. Remember, you can become a patron and get an episode for yourself.
Dedicated to you.
We will make a bad pun on the name that you leave, as we've done the last 2 times, just to do things what's happening.
Summer is just like, what? Oh, our Discord.
Join our Discord. Summer is just like falling off of a cliff.
It is. A sweaty cliff.
A sweaty cliff.
For content creators. So if you've got a few bucks to throw away, if this show is something that you enjoy, please consider becoming a patron or increasing your pledge at patreon.com/GLHF Magic. We would so love to have you and get access to our sweet Discord.
Save us from the summer cliff.
The summer cliff. Yeah.
Hey, you know that? You know Cliff?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a real summer guy.
Summer Cliff. That's what he says the first time he puts on shorts for the year.
Yeah, Summer Cliff. He wears a baseball hat and sunglasses.
Summer Cliff has arrived.
Summer Cliff.
Thank you to Card Kingdom as well for being one of our incredible sponsors. CardKingdom.com/GLHF is the link to go to get whatever you need for your magical life. Pre-order that Lord of the Rings goodness right now.
Yes. Are you excited for Lord of the Rings? Go to Card Kingdom.
Do you want some of those ring-style cards?
The moment you can.
Yeah.
The first moment.
I know you said you liked some of the new art styles that they have on those cards there.
Like the ring.
Yeah.
The ring ones.
It's beautiful.
Those ones are so gorgeous. You're going to be able to get them over at Card Kingdom also.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of singles for sale that you can sort by basically whatever parameters that you're looking for. They've also got a hot buy list where if you've got some cards in your collection you're looking to offload, you can check that list. That's paying good prices for stuff like Rest in Peace, for instance. Right now, I'm like, I've got some Rest in Pieces that I could offload. And then if I trade them in, I get more in-store credit, which would be really cool. Turn them into even better Magic cards that you want to use right now. I just love Card Kingdom. It's true.
Yeah, me too.
It's time for a Lord of the Rings preview card.
Oh my goodness. All right, Maria, we've got a rare today.
Yes, we do.
It is a 2-mana legendary artifact.
Oh, very cool.
Very cool. Horn of the Mark.
This seems like almost like it could have been made with a mechanic forge.
It almost seems like it could have been. Of course, it is is not because Forge is, for some reason, not a mechanic in this set.
We'll never know why. Horn of the Mark, legendary artifact at rare. Whenever 2 or more creatures you control attack a player, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Pretty sick.
This is cool.
Very nice.
You're like blowing the horn to get the creatures out of the deck into the
You're
battle.
Like, hey, that's what it sounds. That's
what the
noise
horn.
that this horn
It doesn't
makes.
make a normal horn noise.
No, it doesn't go boo.
Hey, hey. And out come the creatures.
And the creatures are like, oh yeah, great. And has this quote from the book: "He that blows this horn shall set fear in the hearts of his enemies and joy in the hearts of his friends," which is, of course, from Éowyn.
Yes, I actually looked up the history of this horn in Lord of the Rings. Of course, it's real.
Tell us all about it.
It's a silver horn made by the dwarves. It was among their treasure that the long worm Scatha took from them. So Scatha, the worm, was a mighty long worm. So there's 2 different kinds of worms, I guess, in Lord of the Rings.
Mighty long and just
normal. Of the Great Mountains, and one of the greatest dragons to infest that range of the north. So this dragon stole this horn from the dwarves.
Rude.
It became, past hands for a little while. And centuries later, at the end of the War of the Ring, Lady Éowyn gave the horn to Holdwine Meriadoc Brandybuck, a.k.a. Mary, as a farewell gift for his services to Rohan.
Aw, Mary gets it.
And then on the return to the Shire, Mary used the horn to sound the horn call of Buckland on 2nd of November, 3019, by the way. That's right. We're getting gradually here, rousing the Shire folk against the ruffians who had taken control of the Shire.
Oh, that's right. You remember there's like the weird epilogue. We'll get to it when we talk about the entire story of Lord of the Rings. Will I actually get to the weird epilogue where they get back to the Shire and mean people have taken it over? Probably not.
Yeah. So in commemoration of those events and the liberation of the Shire, the horn is sounded ceremonially every year at sundown on the 2nd of November in Buckland, commencing celebrations with bonfires and feasts.
Oh, that's cute.
Isn't that so nice?
It's kind of like how every Wednesday we have the tornado sirens.
The first Wednesday of every month is like the horn of the mark.
Exactly. I wish that we all partied harder when we had a tornado test.
Yeah, I mean, we can all hear it, so it is like the horn of the mark calling us to have a party.
Yes, and to rise against tornadoes.
It is beautiful art, by the way, by Anastasia Balakchina here, and we have a normal version. We also have an extended art version of this card.
You can see, obviously, because it is the Horn of the Mark, the Riders of Rohan, it has horses engraved all over it. Big time, I'm a big time horse girl. I'm all about this horse horn.
Horse horn. This seems like a very fun card, too.
Yeah.
2 or more creatures you control attack a player. Would you play this in limited?
Yeah, of course.
All right, let's
run it. Are you kidding? You get to go get more creatures? It's only 2 mana?
2 mana is such a good cost on this card.
Yes.
And I feel like if your deck is even remotely interested in attacking,
you want to play this because
you want a card draw engine.
Just gets you more. It gets you more creatures.
Gets you more creatures, and sometimes that's where
really
creature deck
actually
struggles is card draw, and this gives you an angle to attack the game with that normally you don't have access to.
Here's my question. Do we see this, is a humans deck in Modern going to want this?
Yeah, it might. It might. It's costed correctly.
Exactly. It's 2 mana. There are obviously decks in Modern that are about attacking, even though it is a format where combo is legal. Some people, that there are combo decks that exist in Modern that you can play. Some people choose to attack with creatures instead, which is their prerogative.
Yeah. It's a free country.
It's a choice that they can make. And if they're making that, then maybe this horn has a place in there.
Yeah, very interesting thoughts. So if you have any thoughts yourself on Horn of the Mark or how you might want to use it, you can let us know on Twitter at GLHF Magic or post in our patron Discord, because I think this card is very cool. Hey!
Maria?
Yes.
Are you ready?
I don't know. Can I possibly be ready is the real question.
No.
All right. 11 chapters. Get at me.
All right.
Starting.
We're going to start with the episode 5 the final chapter of Phyrexia, All Will Be One.
So what happened immediately before this? Where did we leave off? It's been a while.
When we were leaving off, they were on Phyrexia. Remember, they had gone through all the layers down, and they were in the seed core.
That's right.
Trying to ignite the Silex at the base of Realmbreaker to try and obliterate Realmbreaker and New Phyrexia.
And like if they blow up Realmbreaker, their thought is they get rid of all the Phyrexian stuff everywhere.
So they thought that their idea was to get to Realmbreaker before it made contact, because unfortunately they realized that they're too late and that Realmbreaker has already made contact with other planes. So now if they blow up the Silex, there's a chance that the Silex just levels everything. Like it all gone.
What's the P-doom of blowing up everything with setting the Silex off?
Apparently, like, whatever the Silex, like, the Silex's inscription was something along the lines of, like, wipe it all clean. That's what it says. The Silex is like, what does it do? Wipe it all clean.
Is this dishwasher instructions or what I should not do
wipe
with it?
Wipe it all clean with the multiverse, right? And so, like...
Wow.
Elspeth is fighting a Johnny, and Tyvar is fighting Tybalt, and they're kind of back a little ways, right? They were like, you three, Kato, Kaya, and Jace, who is slowly transforming because he got stabbed by Rasky. They're like, you go on ahead, find the base of Realmbreaker, and ignite the Silex.
Wow.
We're going to fight these guys back here.
Okay.
And they're like, okay. But they get there, and Kaya and Kato are like, Jace, you can't ignite the Silex. Like, it's connected. You might blow up literally everything in existence. You might destroy every single plane that Realmbreaker is touching. And that's what Jace says. Jace is like...
Of course he does.
Jace is like, do you know what? If the Phyrexians are there, those planes are already lost.
Oh, wow.
And Kato's like,
hardcore.
I did not bring you here to, like, blow up Kamigawa. I brought you here to save Kamigawa. And Jace is like,
Jace is just done with it, I guess, huh?
Exactly. I mean, he's becoming Jingataxiast as we speak.
Yeah, and his girlfriend just stabbed him.
Exactly. He's having a rough day, and he's very much just like, everyone's dead. Fraska's dead. Our allies are dead. We've been found out. Realmbreaker's touching everything. I'm going to blow up the Silex.
Great Jace impression.
Thank you. And so they're like, they just have an extended fight.
Yeah.
Vocal fight. Back where Tyvar is fighting Tybalt and Elspeth is fighting a Johnny, Tybalt has his magic, which just makes everybody feel despairing and bad.
Wait,
that's Tybalt's magic.
That's his deal?
That's part of his deal.
He just makes you feel bad?
He makes you feel like everything is hopeless. And so
How
Elspeth...
did I not know that was Tyvar's deal?
Not Tyvar, Tybalt.
Oh, Tybalt. Okay,
yes.
that makes more sense.
Tyvar's deal is that he can turn himself and other things into whatever substances he's touching. Right? If he's like touching metal, he can turn his skin metal and like extend that onto other things. Or if he's touching rock, he can turn into rock.
Okay.
It's actually pretty sick.
That's cooler than just making a general malaise.
Yes. So Tybalt is like, Elspeth is like starting to despair and she's losing her fight against a Johnny. And Tyvar is like, everything is hopeless. But then he looks at Tybalt and he's like, that's right. I hate you big time because you tried to destroy Kaldheim. You remember back when he did. And so Tybalt's like little forked devil tail now has like two little, injector spheres for oil on it. And Tyvar literally takes Tybalt's own tail and stab him with it. Right? So first she just like disarms him and Elspeth starts to feel better and then Elspeth disarms the Johnny and knocks him out and runs off to like meet the other planeswalkers. And then she looks back and she's like, you got this? And Tyvar's like, I got this. And then he takes Tybalt's tail and he stabs Tybalt.
Killed with your own tail.
Through the heart with his little spiky tail and then shoves him off a bridge.
Well, bye, Tybalt.
Great end. Really good time.
No one's sad to see you go, my friend.
Yeah. Okay, next up, Jace is like, I'm about to set off this Silex. He gets around Kato and Kaya trying to stop him with all of his illusion trickery, right? Making them think he's other places or that they have the real Silex, but he hasn't. And then he sits down, he has the Silex, and he like
over here,
slices open his own forehead and like bleeds into the Silex bowl.
Jeez.
It's like pretty metal, actually. It's kind of sick. He like bleeds into the bowl, and he's like, "I'm really sorry."
A weird on switch.
Yes, it's a really, and then he basically just like thinks all of his bad thoughts and puts them in the bowl, and then he's like, he says the words, along the lines of like wipe it all clean. And the Silex starts to like glow, you know, from inside. It's about to blow up everybody. And then Elspeth runs in. As this is happening, she just full on stabs Jace.
Wow.
Like runs him through with her blade, grabs the Silex, and planeswalks into the blind eternities with it so it doesn't blow up anything.
Oh, does it blow up there?
We never know, right?
Oh.
She basically is like, I'm not going to let you destroy the multiverse. She grabs the bowl and planeswalks into the ether.
So she
with
basically
it.
just saved the entire world.
She saved the entire multiverse from Jace blowing it up.
Wow. Elspeth, MVP.
Really, really true. And then, you know, all of like Jace is now fully Phyrexianized at the end. He's like, I'm Phyrexian now. Elish Norn comes in and she's like, here are all my Phyrexian planeswalker friends. Luca's there and everyone's disgusted by Luca. Like truly everyone's just like, woof, that guy looks rough. For some reason he looks the most rough of any of them. Jace is there. Obviously Nissa is there.
Yeah.
Ajani there. And all of the pods take off for all of the Realmbreaker rips open the world, and all of these pods take off and go for their invasion.
Like shuttle pods from Star Trek.
Yeah, basically like shuttle pods from Star Trek. You're not wrong.
You're just getting a little pod. And, okay.
They're just going through holes in the multiverse into other planes.
What do these pods look like? Do they have air conditioning? Is there a steering system?
Do you know what? There's not a lot of detail on that.
Crew quarters?
Yeah.
A mess?
It kind of seems like it's mostly because there's branches of the invasion tree, you know?
Yeah.
And it seems like they're kind of like seed pods on the branches of the tree.
I see.
So they're that kind of pod.
Inside
And
a
then
little walnut.
when the holes open, the portals open into new planes, the arms of the invasion tree just bust through them and then like onto the ground, you know?
Put the roots down.
And then all of the pods like burst off and Phyrexians pour out by the billions.
They coming.
Oh, they coming.
Wow.
That's the end of Phyrexia, all will be one.
Oh, yay. There we go.
Maria,
Phyrexia, all will be
we are
one.
barely getting started.
Okay, that was our first chapter of the last chapter. Wait, of the last story. The last chapter of the last story. Now on to the first chapter of the new story, March of the Machine.
Picks up exactly where we just left off.
Oh, great.
Elish Norn is there. Oh, by the way, like, apparently when you're just standing in Phyrexia, there's kind of like, she has like some kind of unearthly choir of Phyrexians that are all like singing a weird like,
Well, I would too, quite honestly. Get out here, choir. I'm about to do my hair.
Yeah. So anyways, episode 1 is a lot about how Elish Norn definitely thinks she's really great.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a little culty. It's like very culty and a little religion-y. Elish Norn is like, I'm great. Everyone join me. I'm sick.
I wonder how the other Praetors feel about that.
Speaking of, so Atraxa and Ajani haul Shieldred in, stripped of all of her extra stuff, right? Stripped of all of her Phyrexianization.
Oh, she doesn't have her husk anymore?
No, because Elish Norn's like, kill her.
What did she do? What did she do wrong?
Well, she was like, Shieldred's like, Norn, you only care about yourself.
Yeah.
And not actually about Phyrexia and all being one. And Norn is like, no, you. That's it. And then she's like, for this, you know, you're for being...
Classic famous person beef situation.
Yes, no, you. Basically, Shieldred was like mad about how Elish Norn is going about running things. And Elish Norn's like, well, I'm in charge. Kill her. And Ajani clean slice her head off.
What?
The end of Shieldred.
Holy cow.
Yes. She's like, Ajani, take care of that. And Ajani is just like, shink.
Oh.
Shieldred dead.
I didn't know Shieldred died.
Yeah.
I'm shocked and stunned right now.
It's in a card art. I don't remember which one.
Whoa, my gosh. Okay.
But anyways, so there was just this, I just wanted to read this one line that Elish Norn says she traps Kato and Kaya and maybe it's just Kato and Kaya and someone else. I forget who else it was. Oh, Tyvar. Tyvar's still there, obviously.
Okay.
Tyvar ran in. She traps the three of them. She lets them get away in the same way that like a Bond villain lets people get away.
Yeah.
You know, she's just like, yeah, someone has to go tell people about how spooky we are.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, I don't know, you could have just converted them, but that doesn't work with the story, so she lets them get away, Bond villain style.
Yeah.
Quote, with the barrier of their skin removed and their minds joined to ours, the others will soon come to know the ecstasy of Phyrexia as you do.
I'm sure that will work out for you.
Yes. Also, it's just like with the berry of their skin removed. What a line.
Oh, gross.
So anyways, they're all there on their little like platform with a bunch of planeswalkers that she has completed.
Okay.
And Nissa is there, and Nissa's job is to like steer Realmbreaker essentially and like point it towards the different planes because it is a plant.
okay.
You know, it's a big plant. And so Norn has everyone around her be like, okay, what plane are you going to go take care of? And Nahiri is like, we're going to go to Zendikar. And she's like, Nissa, show us Zendikar. And the portal's open and we see Zendikar below them. And Nahiri's like, yeah, do you know what? I've always caused trouble on Zendikar. I'm going to go cause some more by Phyrexianizing it. Tamio is there, obviously. Very sad still. Tamio is off to convert Kamigawa. Even though maybe she's like feeling something weird about it, she seems to like space out for a hot second. So there's still some part of Tamio deep in there, maybe, is kind of what it tells us. Ajani is all about Theros. Norn's like, you're going to make the gods Phyrexians. And Ajani's like, the way religion works on Theros is that like people's belief creates the gods.
Yeah.
So if you make the people believe in the Argent etchings, which is like some of the Phyrexian scripture stuff, then the gods will just become Phyrexianized because that's what the people believe in.
I believe that Heliod has no pants.
Yeah, Maria, if you got enough people to believe that Heliod doesn't wear pants, Heliod would not wear pants.
Just Donald ducking it around.
Exactly, that's
the
how it would
sky
work.
day and night.
So anyways, he's going to convert the job, but also he has some secret job down on Theros. I don't really know what it is.
Ajani does?
Yeah, Norn
Okay.
doesn't tell him. Atraxa leaves for New Capenna because Atraxa used to be an angel. If you didn't know that about Atraxa. Atraxa's a converted angel.
Sense, yeah.
And Norn is like, do you know what? I'm especially mad at New Capenna. You're not even going to convert people there. You're just going to murder them all. Straight up murder everyone on New Capenna.
Oh, because New Capenna found a way
exactly to defeat Phyrexians who used to be there. So she's big mad about that. She's like, go level the place. Also, there's Halo in the air, and the fact that you're like a corrupted angel means that you'll be able to withstand it longer than other Phyrexians.
Interesting.
So, that's where they go. So that's where Atraxa goes.
Halo's a thing that could come to our aid.
I have another quote for you.
Oh, great.
You'll know why at the end. This is Atraxa talking about looking at New Capenna.
Okay.
Quote, everywhere the eye falls, there is something to appall it. Golden shells mounted to vertical shuttles, a sickening worship of fur evident in their coats and dress, the foul noise they called music played by the unworthy tubes of flesh. That's all.
The unworthy tubes of flesh. So tubes of flesh is the way she's referring to like human beings.
Yes, human bodies.
I mean, we are a tube of flesh.
Yeah, it's true.
We're just one
She's
long,
not wrong.
curvy tube.
Okay, you can stop anytime you want. So that's like the summary of episode 1 of March of the Machine is each of these evangels of Norn going off to a different plane.
Wow.
To convert that plane.
Okay.
To complete that plane.
The plot is underway.
Yes. Moving to episode 2, where we go to Dominaria, the home of Liliana's new house. There you go. Liliana's building a new place.
Just made
It's gonna be sick.
New house there?
Exactly. Everybody who didn't go to Phyrexia is waiting there, including Chandra, Ren, Vivian, Liliana. I think maybe there was someone else there, but I don't remember.
They're hanging out having a pool party?
Yeah, exactly. And just being nervous all the time. So anyways.
A nervous pool party.
Exactly. Ren is both a dryad who can connect to trees, but also has like red style magic that's fire based. So Chandra is mentoring Ren. If you're like, who should be a mentor? Why does Chandra come to mind? But anyway, she's what's there. So she's mentoring Ren and trying to help her like shape flames and stuff like that. Apparently when Tyvar planeswalks and arrives somewhere, it sounds like a war horn.
Like
hey. As we now established a war horn sounds like. But anyways, so like Kaya, Tyvar, and Kato planeswalk back to the safe house, and Chandra knows that it happened because she's like, oh, there's a sound like a war horn, which is Tyvar planeswalking somewhere. Which I thought was a delightful detail.
It's like when they've got a little planeswalker doorbell chime.
Exactly.
That's cute.
So basically, all of them just have a fight about what to do. Everyone except Chandra is like, we need to go to our planes that are our home and help people there get ready to fight. And Chandra is like, we need to go back to Phyrexia and just burn the heck out of it.
That thing down.
Burn that place down. And everyone's like, Chandra, that's impossible. We just tried. We were just there and it was a bad time.
Yeah.
And Chandra's like, I don't care what you say. I'm going. And they're like, this is a Phyrexian. And Chandra's like, shut up.
Wow.
I'm mad. And so Chandra storms out and is like, I'm gonna go to Phyrexia. And everyone else is like, we're gonna go to our home planes. Except Ren. Ren comes out and is like, all right, I'm coming with you.
Oh,
what you're saying
cute.
makes sense. Also, Ren is my new favorite character. She's very cute.
Oh, Ren.
Ren is very cute. So Ren and Seven are like, let's get out of here. And Ren is like, hey, we need to find Teferi also. And Chandra's like, where is Teferi? And Ren is like, it's weird and I can't explain it.
Oh.
That's where Teferi is.
I can't remember what he last did. Like, I remember him appearing in people's dreams and messing with their minds, but...
We haven't seen him since he went back in time and found the Silex situation.
So, all right, back in time somewhere.
Yeah.
Doing something weird.
And at the end, there's like a weird, spooky kind of ending. There's like, it's like someone is watching them. Someone that you can't see is watching them. And there are other people also watching. I don't know, in the ether. That's happening.
They can just feel it.
Exactly.
Spooky.
All right, that's episode 2.
Episode 2. Take a drink of
second.
water. Here we are. We've only got 8 more to go.
8 more to go, baby. 3 down, 8 to go. Oh, boy. Okay, here we come to episode 3. Sad stuff's going to happen. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
We're on Kamigawa. Tamio's there to convert Kamigawa.
Yep.
It's sad. She has, she always had her iron-bound scrolls.
Yes.
That were the ones that are too scary to open. She opened one.
Oh, no.
She opened one. So Tamio's magic works that, like, she has these stories that she's written down, and reading these stories is kind of like the spell and her magic that she works.
Right.
So one of these scrolls is the story of Phyrexia coming into being.
Yeah.
Is the story of corrupting oil first taking hold in the multiverse. And she was like, part of her is thinking, when I first read this, I was so scared of it. I bound it in iron and I never read it again.
Oh.
And now she pulls it out and she's like, why was this ever scary? This is the way it's meant to be. All will be one.
Yeah.
You get it. And so she starts reading it and it's very sad. Boseiju just like cracks apart and oil like spills out of it.
Oh, no, Boseiju.
And, the big invasion tree arms are like crashing down and launching all their pods and just destroying buildings left and right. I know, I was very sad about Boseiju. Kaya and Kato show up and they save a kid and a dog from a collapsing building, and it's cute. It's really cute. The kid puts the dog, tucks the dog inside of his shirt as they like fall, and then Kato saves them as they're falling. And then the dog and the kid run off, and that's all. It was just cute.
Later they become Phyrexians.
I mean, the way things are going, like, maybe. So they're like, Kaya and Kato look up and they're like, oh, there's Tamio. We gotta stop her. Because it's a bad time up there.
Jeez.
Yes, exactly. And so they're like, okay. Kato's like, I'm gonna do this, right? Like, this is my plane. That, like, I knew Tamio. This is my fault to some extent. He feels like it's his fault because Tamio was Jingataxius and Tezzeret stole her away, remember?
Yeah, right.
At the very end, so he's like, I allowed this to happen. I let her get captured. I'm responsible for her becoming a Phyrexian. He feels bad. So he, like, runs up to Boseiju, and there's a little Nezumi in armor. It's just a kid. It's Nashi. It's Tamio's adopted son.
Oh.
It's very sad. Nashi is like,
oh, God.
And Kato's like, Nashi, you need to get out of here because things are about to get dark. And Nashi is like, that's my mom.
Wow.
Let me go talk to my mom, okay? She just doesn't understand what's happening. It'll be fine. And Kato's like,
awkward.
Kato's like, this is a bad idea, but okay.
What? Okay. Well.
So they like, they run up Boseiju. Or like Kato makes, some little drone situation. They go up on a branch and come level with Tamio. And Nashi's like, Mom! And Tamio like has some flicker of emotion and then is like, Nashi. And then she's like, okay, you can be part of my family, but if you're completed now.
Yeah.
And Nashi is like, that's not my mom. It's sad and dark.
Louise.
Exactly. And so Kato's like, Nashi, get out of here. I'm about to kill your mom.
Unless
He
you
doesn't
want
say
this
that.
memory to sit and live with you the rest of your life.
Exactly. So now she like backs away, and Kato tries to fight Tamio, but it's not going super well. Kato, is just like. Tamio like flips him upside down, is dangling him by his ankles. And he like cuts himself loose, and he's just falling through the air. But then the Wandering Emperor shows up on Kyodai. On Kyodai, her big flying dragon friend.
Wow.
And they catch him, and then the Emperor is like kills Tamio. It's sad. And at the end, she's like, oh, Tamio, there was some part of Tamio still in there, and she totally wanted me to.
Oh,
right? She was like, when she like threw, these dagger, I don't remember, something that was trying to cut the Emperor. She's like, she was throwing it wide. Like, she wasn't actually trying to hit me, and I think it's because she was asking me to like release her from her suffering of a Phyrexian. Wow. She wanted me to kill her. So the Wandering Emperor kills Tamio. And then a scroll ghost of Tamio comes back and hugs Nashi, and it's sad.
A scroll ghost?
Yeah, so it's like a bunch of like written symbols coalesce into like the illuminated form of Tamio.
Wow.
And Tamio's like, this is a scroll magic that I made for if I ever died. And that's what the scroll ghost is like. I'm for if Tamio ever died, I'm like a final spell. And she like goes and comforts Nashi.
Oh, that's great. I really like that.
That part was very, very cool.
Yeah.
I don't know that we saw an art with Scroll Ghost.
No,
I wish that we had, because it would have been really cool.
Yeah.
Tamio's Scroll Ghost. R.I.P.
Scroll Ghost. It's a blue card. I feel like it's an illusion, of course.
Yeah, it is an illusion, absolutely.
So when it gets targeted with a spell or an ability, you have to sacrifice it, you know? I don't know what else it does. I feel like
you can pay something to draw a card.
Yeah, it's like draw a card situation. Yeah.
Okay.
Scroll Ghost.
Scroll Ghost. That was episode 3. Episode 4. Just going to keep powering through the next couple. Because when this next episode is just like other planes that are experiencing these invasions, right? Tyvar arrives on Kaldheim.
Yep.
His brother Harold is there, and then there's like these giant cracks.
I forgot about Harold.
Right? So there like these giant cracks appear in Kaldheim, and all of like the different worlds kind of fall together through their cosmos. And Harold is like, oh yeah, elves, dwarves, trolls, everybody. Today we're friends, and we're going to fight these invaders together, and if we survive, tomorrow we're enemies again. Remember that.
Okay.
I kid you not.
Wow.
Harold.
All right, Harold.
Old habits die hard.
Yeah, I guess so.
Harold's like, if we live, right back to enemies. Everybody remember
if you had the
that.
best time fighting with this other person, you hate him again tomorrow.
Also, I forget who said this, but I wrote down this quote, which is from a Phyrexian, which is, why extol the virtues of so few when it is by many hands that great work is done? Which, do you know what? I think they have a point. What is that except the argument against billionaires?
Phyrexians notoriously anti-billionaire.
I think that the Phyrexians are pretty anti-billionaire.
I mean, like, the Borg's like kind of like a communist paradise.
Exactly. Phyrexia is a little bit communist, and there's some parts of it that you're like, do you know what? You're right. It is by many hands that wealth is built, and yet wealth is consolidated in the hands of a few. So, hey, maybe think about it. Anyways. We're on Kaldheim. Coma is completed. And the last thing that we see is Tyvar, I think, jumping into Coma's mouth to maybe, do the classic stab from the inside. So that was just like that's our little snapshot of Kaldheim. Okay. Right? Harold's like, today we're fighting together and tomorrow we're enemies. Everyone is really distressed because Coma is a giant cosmos serpent that is now Phyrexianized. And you can never kill it
once it's on the battlefield.
And you can never kill it. And then Tyvar is like, well, I'm going to jump inside that serpent's mouth and stab it.
Okay.
But then we have a little snapshot of Kaladesh. Yeah. Pia Nalar and Sahili are working together. They have seen a lot of, this is in the weeks before the invasion begins. Pia Nalar is like starts seeing the creepy Phyrexian symbol and everything. Like she spills some tea and it forms the Phyrexian symbol. It like sigils and stuff on banners kind of like start reforming themselves. And they go to the console and they're like, this is a problem. And the console is like, we finally have peace here. Quit making trouble. Yeah. But then of course the invasion forces arrive and they're like, they're going to try to get to the ether flux reservoir because that's where all of this ether power is. So they have like like Pia and Saheeli have a car chase, essentially. Fast and Furious Kaladesh.
Great. I would watch it.
To the Etherflux Reservoir. And then, like, Pia gets pulled into a moving helicopter from a moving car. And then the pilot of the helicopter is, like, full-on speared through the chest to the windshield of the helicopter. And it starts going down.
It is Fast and Furious.
And the last snapshot of that is Pia Nalar, like, grabbing the controls of the helicopter and being like, I'm gonna see my daughter when she comes over for tea next month.
Wow, Pia.
Exactly.
So Pia has got some magic stuff, you know, she's got some magic in her veins.
Exactly. She's got some magic. But mostly she's a badass Fast and Furious helicopter driver in this moment. Yes. And then we see Atraxa land on New Capenna and just large-scale murder everyone. She's just big-time murdering.
Wow.
She and the Phyrexians are just, like, obliterating everybody because they don't care about converting these people on New Capenna. They're so mad. They're just going to straight up murder them. Angel statues are making her furious, and she also obliterates a lot of statues.
Wow, Atraxa on a rampage.
She is absolutely on a rampage, bashing things left and right. She also starts having some weird thoughts. She, like, the maestro's minds meld with hers really easily, and so she hears them a lot. And she starts being infected with this idea of, like, what is beautiful? Like, what is beauty? What is beautiful? Which is a weird thing and doesn't really amount to anything in this part of the story, but it was just a strange detail.
Yeah.
They're like, this is beautiful. And she's like, what is beautiful? Anyways.
Okay.
So
I'm sad for all those cute little raccoons that are getting slaughtered on New Capenna.
Sad times. Ridgemont High.
Sad times at New Capenna High.
All right, that's episode 4.
Okay.
We're really flying through this stuff, yeah?
We're making good time here.
Episode 5. We have 6 more to go still, so. Chandra and Ren and Seven land on Phyrexia, and obviously the Mirrans that are left are having a really hard time. Malir is there, Koth is there, and maybe like 10 other Mirrans are left.
Jeez, all right.
But Urabrask is helping them because Urabrask is mad at Norn.
Okay.
Urabrask is like, I don't want all Phyrexians to be the same kind of Phyrexian as Norn. Obviously, like the porcelain, he's like the fire, he's all about the fires, you know.
Yeah.
He's the fires of creation. Exactly. So Urabrask is like, here's a secret passageway that will get you closer to the seed core. It's weird, but it's chill, you know.
So they're rising up.
Exactly.
Praetors rise up. What's interesting is that the fact that Elesh Norn ever made other praetors, like
I think all the praetors were. I don't think Elesh Norn made them. They were all different praetors that were made.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did Elesh Norn come into being?
I don't know, actually.
Interesting.
We'll have to do a history deep dive on this. I didn't look into that. I looked into another part of the story's past that's going to come up in a little bit. So anyways, they're there. Urabrask is mad. Teferi is still ? But Ren is like, he'll be here.
Okay.
We still don't know where he is, but Ren is like,
or when
we'll
he
find him. Exactly. Anyways, there's an enormous chasm, and Koth like puts them on pieces of rock and shoots Chandra and Ren across the chasm.
That's just like Tears of the Kingdom stuff.
It really is. It's very. Having recently been playing
Ultra
a lot
hand.
of Tears of the Kingdom. It is very much like hopping up on a rock and time reversing it so you can shoot up into the sky.
Great.
Very similar. They like rocket across this chasm towards Realmbreaker, and Koth is like, none of our other plans have worked. And Ren is like, well, we have a plan you've never. I love Ren so much. Ren is like, we have a plan you've never heard of because you don't have like there aren't any other dryads that can bond with trees. And or the way I can, or like there aren't any other planeswalking dryads that bond with trees. And Koth is like, I guess that's true. So Ren is going to try to bond with Realmbreaker is their plan.
Oh,
so that's where they're going. That's why they shoot them across the chasm. And the Mirrans are like, we're going to go make a distraction somewhere else while this happens. But of course, Norn knows that they're there, and Norn sends Chandra's weakest spot. Nissa.
Yeah.
And Nissa is there. And Nissa murders Seven. Not Ren, obviously.
Yeah.
But the tree that Ren is currently bonded with, Seven, Nissa murders, and it's sad.
Jeez,
I know.
Nissa.
Nissa chops up this tree and then like magically like pulls Ren and the tree apart. It's rough.
All right, Nissa.
And Chandra, a lot of this episode is Chandra having a lot of angst about seeing Nissa again. it's mostly a lot of gay angst about seeing Nissa again.
Gangst, if you will.
Yes, exactly. Like, Nissa's completed. It's a terrible reunion. Hence the card.
I get it.
Exactly. Nissa's like, life is real easy. If you just join us, we'll be together and everyone will be happy forever. And Chandra is like, I'm thinking about it.
Wow, you're in deep, Chandra.
Exactly. Chandra's like, I'm thinking about it. And Nissa's like, come on. And Chandra's like, sorry, no. And so Ren is like, Nissa like gets Realmbreaker to like trap Ren. Ren's not bond. Ren needs like help bonding with the tree. So right now, she's just trapped by the tree, and Chandra just like incinerates the platform that she and Nissa are falling on, so they just fall into a void.
Oh, jeez.
End of episode.
Wow. Yeah. Credits roll.
Exactly.
All right, that was episode 5.
That was episode 5. Okay, here we are. Episode 6.
Okay.
We're just taking a little, like, what's up with Elspeth? The last time we saw Elspeth, she had grabbed the Silex and planeswalked into a void to
the blind eternities.
Exactly. To prevent someone, like, to prevent the multiverse from blowing up.
Well, yeah, noble goal, honestly.
Exactly. Sacrificing herself. And she is, in her past, she's seeing herself in the Phyrexian dungeon that she remembers from when she was a kid, where her mom was straight up murdered in front of her. It's grim. Anyways, so she sees that, and then like there's a voice that's like, you have to make a choice. And at first it's her mom's voice, and then it's like a voice that she doesn't recognize. And then they see they go through other realms. They see New Capenna, and they see Atraxa fighting on New Capenna. And the voice is like, you can pick the place where you return to this battle in the multiverse, but you need to pick correctly because otherwise the fight is over.
Whose voice is this?
We'll find out.
Teferi.
That's
my guess.
And so she sees New Capenna, and she's like, this place has been my home. It was most recently my home. But then she sees the angels, and she's like, no, this place has a set of defenders. This isn't where I rejoin the fight. It's not New Capenna.
Okay.
They go to Theros. They see Ajani in the Temple of Heliod with a bunch of Heliod's disciples. They're Phyrexianized.
Has no pants on for
Heliod
some reason. We don't know why.
All of his disciples are like, we believe Heliod has no pants.
Nelson's like, I'm going to skip this one.
She's like, no, that's okay. It's very sad. She hears here on this plane, she hears like the ghost of Daxos.
Oh, yeah.
Remember she was in love with. They were in love. And she like sees, all of these people being Phyrexianized in Heliod's temple and Ajani there. And she's really sad because Ajani was a mentor to her for a long time. And she's like, is this where I'm supposed to be? Am I supposed to take down Ajani?
Oh, geez.
And she's like, no, like taking down one Phyrexian that's not enough. Right? Like that makes no difference.
Not at this
exactly. Point. If I kill Ajani or anything. And so she's like, no, it's not here. And Daxos is like, yeah, I know. You got to go somewhere else. It's sad. They hug. And then they go to Phyrexia. And speaking of Urabrask, Elish Norn found out he's a traitor, and she's literally having people pull him limb from limb.
Oh, my God.
That's rough.
All right.
Exactly.
I would like to see that, actually.
Pulling him limb from limb.
Okay. That's a normal response.
Drawn and quartered Urabrask traitor.
Wow.
And there's like, Elish Norn is sitting on her throne, and there's like these choirs on her weird choirs on either side of her. And Elspeth goes for a sword, and she's like, Norn has to die. And the voice is like, that's not why you're here. Like, is that would killing just Norn at this point? Like, look at the invasion tree. And Elspeth looks, and she's like, and she sees, right, they've captured, Nissa is there again, and they've captured Chandra and Ren and Koth and the remaining Mirrans.
Yep.
And she looks and she's like, what do I need to do here? And she's like, oh, I need to distract them long enough for Ren to get to Realmbreaker. That is what I need to do here. So here on Phyrexia, which I never wanted to frickin' see again, is where I will come back into being. And the voice is like, yes, this is where you're meant to be, where you're meant to turn the tide of the fight. And the voice disappears, and Elspeth materializes on Phyrexia as one big ol' angel.
Oh, so that's how she become Angel.
Yes, and the voice was Sarah.
Oh, it was Sarah.
Yeah. Which I was reading. So, right, no one's 100% sure where Elspeth came from. She did live on Capenna before it was New Capenna.
Yep.
But Sarah's realm, which was a realm that the angel Sarah created, it was, like an artificial plane, was also taken over by Phyrexians at one point. And so there were a bunch of people who on the Weatherlight fled Sarah's realm.
Okay.
Right? And so there's a chance Elspeth was probably originally from Sarah's realm, was a human from Sarah's realm.
Oh.
Who then, when Sarah's realm was obliterated by the Phyrexians back in the day, then found shelter on New Capenna afterwards.
That makes sense.
And New Capenna is where she sparked exactly in a dungeon.
Wow. When you make a realm, do you have to make all the people that live in that realm too? Or do they
I don't know. They don't really talk about it. They do talk about how you have to be there to maintain it all the time. Like an artificial realm needs someone there maintaining it.
Just like a terrarium.
Exactly.
That's how I think about the Earth.
Yeah. So she materials, right, is Jin-Gitaxias is about to kill Koth, I think, or something.
Yeah.
And Elspeth materializes and blocks him. Yeah. Pretty sick.
With her wings.
End of chapter.
Oh, that's very cool. Yeah. I didn't know how Elspeth got her wings, and it turns out it's not the same way as a bell ringing.
No, it's not.
That we learned about.
Somewhere a bell rang.
Yeah.
But she didn't. It's a Wonderful Life someone.
Oh, Elspeth's got her wings. Mary, do you see this? Magic the Gathering character is now an angel. Mary! There you go, everybody. That's my best impression.
Whew, it was really something.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm so sweaty. I've been going too slowly through this.
Too slow. All right, we gotta crank up the pace here for these last 4.
Exactly. Okay, Karn is also there on Phyrexia. Elish Norn has just been full on torturing him the whole time.
Fun.
And he's like, why do I feel pain? And back in the day, Urza was like, well, because if you can scream, people won't hurt you. Urza was a messed up dude, so let's remember that. Things are looking real bad, but obviously that's when Elspeth comes in, and Elspeth is fights the Praetors a whole bunch, and she's like, all right, she heals Chandra enough so that Chandra can run. She's like, Chandra, Koth, Mirrans, you all pick up Ren and run for Realmbreaker, and I'm gonna stay here and fight Elish Norn.
Nice.
And Elish Norn and Elspeth have a big sick fight, right, where Elish Norn is grabbing Elspeth out of the sky and stuff like that.
Yeah, we saw some of it in one of the trailers that got released.
Yeah, exactly. She grabs her out of the sky. Elspeth has her facsimile now of Godsend.
Right.
The spear that she had. So she stabs Elish Norn through the shoulder with her spear and stuff. And Elish Norn makes a giant wall so that Elspeth can't go and help the Mirrans who are trying to get Ren to Realmbreaker.
The boys' choir is cowering in a corner.
They're all afraid. And literally Elish Norn is just grabbing chunks of things and throwing them at Elspeth, and it doesn't even bother Elspeth really. And Norn makes a bunch of spears to throw at her, and so Elspeth flies straight for the wall and then zooms up at the last moment so all the spears punch through the wall and she can go and follow the Mirrans.
Oh, nice.
Exactly.
Good
so that's
move.
happening now, yes. And for a minute, Norn is how is becoming a Phyrexian any different from becoming an angel anyways? And then Jin-Gitaxias is stop messing with that angel, let's attend to the real problems. And Elish Norn pulls his arms off. Because there's no dissent in Phyrexia.
That is her, how she fixes every problem.
So pull his
arms off.
And Elspeth is well, because when people disagree with me, I don't pull their arms off. That's how we're different. Truly, that is the moment that she has.
We're not so different,
We're not so different, except that you pull people's arms off. Anyways, they're running for the tree. Elspeth flies away from Elish Norn, who's big mad about it. That's the end of that chapter. We gotta keep rolling.
So, wait. Okay, so Urbrask's been disemboweled.
Yes, been pulled apart.
At
one point,
Jin-Gitaxias?
No, let's see. Urabrask is like completely gone for, right? He's been drawn and quartered. Yeah. Shieldred's been beheaded.
Yep.
At one point, Vorinclex is still there. At one point, when Elspeth is pulling things off to like throw at Elspeth, she pulls off part of Vorinclex's like horns to like throw, and Vorinclex's like
these Phyrexians just come apart so easily.
But Jingataxius and Vorinclex are still on Elesh Norn's side. But when Jingataxius, for a moment, disagrees with what Elesh Norn wants to do, she pulls his arms off. He's still alive. He just have no arms, I suppose.
Just a giant Phyrexian torso with legs. Sloopy, spidery legs. Okay.
Basically.
Got it.
So, okay. That's that. Moving on. Episode 8. Ren and Chandra are trying to get to the base of Realmbreaker. Nissa is chasing them, and Chandra doesn't want to hit her with a fireball. And Ren's like, I get it. You don't want to hit your friend with a fireball. And Chandra's like, you don't get it. I'm having so much gangst.
I love gangst. Everybody go out there. Happy Pride Month, by the way.
Happy
and
Pride,
use the word gangst as much as you want.
Exactly.
It's a great word.
Okay. So they're like, the Malirans are also coming. Koth is there. Malira is there. The Mirans are coming. And Nissa, like, grabs Chandra. So Chandra, like, throws Ren to the next person, to Koth. And then Koth has Ren. And then Koth, like, throws Ren to the next person.
Beautiful.
So it's like a fire bucket brigade, right? They're like fire bucket brigading Ren towards Realmbreaker.
That's cute.
Exactly. And Elspeth finally arrives and is, like, turning the tide of the fight a little bit as they try to get to the base of Realmbreaker.
Okay.
They get there, but Chandra is still back fighting Nissa, and Ren is like, I need help. I can't just, like, I can connect with Realmbreaker, but I need help, like, channeling this fire. Chandra was my mentor. I can't do this by myself. And Malira is like, I can give you some strength. Malira also gets stabbed through the stomach, so she's having a hard time, but she's still doing her part, right?
What a trooper.
Exactly. Ren fuses with Realmbreaker, bonds with Realmbreaker, and the invasion tree obviously is not happy about it initially. The invasion tree is like, you stop, don't, like, become a Phyrexian with me if you're gonna do this. And Ren is like, no, not gonna do that. And she, like, basically goes through this, like, weird, you know, like, inside of your mind's journey to where like the soul of Realmbreaker, the tree, is. You know, like a little Realmbreaker is this big constructed thing, but she finds like a little contaminated like sapling that's struggling to survive, which is the true soul of Realmbreaker. And that's like Ren like spends time and sings to that sapling and cultivates it and convinces it to grow into an enormous tree.
Oh, wow.
And then that's the tree, like the soul, the pure soul of Realmbreaker is what Ren bonds with. And then Ren is like, we need to find Teferi. That's part of what I'm here for. And Realmbreaker is like, that means nothing to me. I can only see the places that the Phyrexians have connected me to. And there's no place like where you're trying to direct me. And Ren is like, don't worry about it. I'm going to find it. And she like closes her eyes and like wills Realmbreaker to grow and searches through like the vastness of the cosmos and alternative realities and stuff and finds where Teferi is on Zalfir, which is Teferi's home plane that once upon a time was phased out of existence.
Oh, geez.
It exists in a void, essentially. It is not in the multiverse. It was lost. And Teferi went and found it again, and now Ren has found it again. And is like, Teferi, we need your help. And Teferi's like, I'll come. And also, the Zalfirans back in the day also battled Phyrexia. So everyone on Zalfir is like, we're coming too. And Ren is like, do you know what? I'm going to give my life to do what I can barely do, which is not only phase Zalfir back into existence so that they can all like fight against the Phyrexian invasions. I am going to phase Phyrexia out and put it where Zalfir is in a void all by itself, not existing anymore.
I didn't know you could phase out an entire plane.
I mean, that's why I think so. Just to talk for a second about, I think that they did a cool thing of like introducing just a little bit of phasing in so many sets prior, right? when it first happened, again, we were like, oh, phasing hasn't really been on cards in a long time.
Yeah.
But I think that it was like a direct lead up, right, to this moment of being like, oh, there was once an entire plane that was phased out of existence, right? Like the way you treat phased permanents on a battlefield, they just don't exist.
Right, exactly.
They're not anywhere. They're not on the battlefield, but they're not in your graveyard, and they're not in exile.
No.
They are simply nowhere. And that's where Zalfir has been this entire time.
Cool.
And Ren is like, this is going to kill me. Teferi, please remember me. And Teferi's like, Ren, you are like the bomb right now. Like, you're amazing. This is unheard of. You're doing something incredible.
I mean, literally
no one's ever
saving everybody.
Literally saving everybody in the entire freaking multiverse. Of course I'm going to remember you. And Ren's like, let's do this. Rock and roll.
Jeez. All right.
Exactly. Okay. So now we go. I'm just going to give you like the wrap up.
Okay, the wrap up. The wrap up. Here we go.
All of the Knights of Zalfir return into the multiverse. They full on, like, one of them like beheads Vorin Klex. Karn like unmakes. Karn made Elish Norn, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Karn unmakes Elish Norn. You know.
The same way you pull out bad stitches when you're knitting, I assume.
Exactly.
He rips her limb from limb. He has a taste of your own medicine.
Yes. That's it. You know, the big battle turns the tide of battle. Things are going to sort of be, okay now, I guess. We move to episode 10, which is like a wrap up on all of these planes.
Yeah.
Kamigawa, you know, here there are people coming home to their families. On call time, you know, elves are like, Harold is there being like, where did Tyvar go? You know, on Kaladesh, Pia is like still steering this helicopter, and then the tide of battle turns, and Pia's like, I am going to see my daughter again. Frickin' told you so.
Cute.
Anyways, and then Teferi finds like a little like seed from Ren and plants it.
Oh,
and it's like,
that's what that card is.
Yeah, he's like, I really hope that, you know, like someday I will get to see Ren again. I don't know. Maybe the sapling will just grow into a tree. Maybe it will grow into a dryad who isn't Ren. Maybe it'll grow into Ren. You know, they managed to, Melira sacrifices herself to unphyrexianized planeswalkers that are still alive. Like, that's how Ajani becomes unphyrexianized. But also they lose their spark when that happens. So Ajani survives and loses his spark.
Oh. And then Jace gets
Nissa
better,
survives and loses her spark. Nahiri survives and loses her spark. I don't know what happens to Jace.
Oh, okay. So we've defeated the Phyrexian. The Phyrexian menace is no more.
Yeah.
Some planeswalkers have survived.
Phyrexia is phased out and now exists where Zalfir once existed.
Zalfir's back. Some planeswalkers have survived yet lost their sparks, so now they're just normal cat people and various other iterations of beings.
Like Vraska, I think maybe gets unphyrexianized. We don't know. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know if we see Vraska's in there with Jace that we don't see or get unphyrexianized.
Okay.
We just see the ones that we saw cards for. Ajani, Nahiri, I think Nissa Resurgent Animist, right? She's a creature now. Calyx, he just a creature now. Nahiri, Kiora. They've all lost their sparks. Narset lost her spark.
Wow. So now they're just normal,
everyday he's
creatures.
Stuck on New Capenna and he's big mad about it.
Wow.
Samut. Remember her?
Yeah, I remember Samut.
Sarkin. Karn. No more spark.
No more spark for Karn.
So anyways, isn't that like that, you know, that's kind of wild. Actually, and now that we've mentioned it, we don't see Jace and we don't see Vraska, so we don't know what happened to them.
Okay.
Like, hopefully they get unphyrexianized in the same way, but who knows?
Well, that's an interesting end to the saga of the Phyrexians. I think it's a cool solution that Ren was able to come up with, phasing out Phyrexia. What is your takeaway after reading this whole story?
Oh man, I really liked the Phyrexians and new Phyrexia as a villain. They really did not lean away from like the horrors of it.
Yeah.
But also the way that sometimes when individual people or planeswalkers were being like spoken to or tried to be pulled in, the way that it had like kind of a strange appeal to people depending on their past trauma, honestly.
I think that's cool.
Like I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
It was cool. They were like they're a spooky menace.
Yeah.
Right? And they mounted like a very effective multiplanar attack.
Sure did.
And I thought that they did a nice job of there are several times when we see I forgot to tell you about the sick way that Atraxa died.
Oh, okay.
Which is that all of the Riveteers literally collapse the entire city of New Capenna onto her.
Wow, okay, what a way to go.
Exactly. What a way to go. They just full on
collapse into a smoosh.
They smoosh her.
Atraxa gets smooshed.
She gets smooshed. Giada, they like travel through multiple planes. Also, like they did in many ways that people traveled through multiple planes to see the ways that it was happening, right?
Yeah.
There was the time that Elspeth went to the different locations to be like, is it here that you should intervene? Here.
Yeah, I thought that was very neat.
Elish Norn's different evangels like went to their different places and were like, this is how I'm going to destroy this place.
Yeah.
I thought like that was cool. After they crush Atraxa with all of just the city of New Capenna, smoosh her. They travel through and they like see these many planes that they are bringing Halo to. That was also a big part of the battle. So like New Capenna brings Halo to all of these places, and the surge of Halo helps combat Phyresis.
Okay.
And so that's part of it. And Giada gets to like see all of these different planes and like Halo seeping into these planes and helping everybody. And then she also gets to see Elspeth when Elspeth Angel, and Giada was like, I always knew you had it in you.
Oh, that's cute.
It was very cute. Exactly. So I thought they did a good job of showing the scale of it and having us be acquainted with all these places and then see it influence all those places.
Yeah, very cool story. Wonderful story time. Good job recapping 11 chapters in one.
Like I literally forgot about what happened to Atraxa because there was so much to cover. So sorry for if there are any other like big chunks of story that I just forgot in this recap. Forgive me, 11 chapters.
11 chapters.
11 chapters.
And we'll be able to start fresh with the new set coming up after Lord of the Rings. Well, we're going to get the Lord of the Rings story, but after that, we'll start fresh and we'll be back in current time.
Wilds of Eldraine.
Wilds of Eldraine.
Very cool. Which we get to see what happened after.
Yeah. How Eldraine gone wild. Well, that was a lot of story. That was a lot of story.
That took longer than I meant it to.
Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody, on this episode of Good Luck High Five, listening to 11 chapters of the Magic story.
Thank you, Maria, for remaining engaged and asking good questions throughout. Because it was just almost an hour of me talking at you.
Well, you know, it was like a condensed milk, you know?
Oh, yeah.
We just put in a little water and then now you have it in your brain places.
I hope that is not what anyone's doing with condensed milk.
I'm like, I don't even know how it works. I'm like, oh wait, I use it in Trace Leches. That's not.
I think it's its own thing.
I'm thinking of powdered milk. I think
you're thinking of powdered milk.
Or condensed soup and you add water.
Oh, condensed soup also works.
That's probably what I'm thinking of, not milk. Anyway, thank you everybody for going through that story with us. It was an epic multiplanar, super cool story that just spanned so many emotions, places, planeswalkers, and the Phyrexians, like you said, I think were an excellent villain. Very excited to see where we go with story next. By the way, everybody, patreon.com/GLHF Magic is the place to go to get an episode dedicated to you. We're going to be back to talking more about the Lord of the Rings set next week. And we want to dedicate it to somebody.
Exactly. So, if you want to claim a 5-minute version of Lord of the Rings for your own, you can do that.
It will be yours.
Becoming a new patron or upping your pledge.
Thank you to Card Kingdom as well. Head to cardkingdom.com/GLHF for all of your magical needs. And until next time, if you get in a fight with somebody, remember, do not, no matter how tempting it is, tear them limb from limb.
Yeah, don't just, when someone disagrees with you, don't just pull their arms off.